Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering newspaper panics as $25 million verdict awarded for false claim of racism. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from thelostogle.com, the Oklahoman newspaper owes the guy they defamed $25 million. And the background on this story, also from the Lost Ogle, racism in Oklahoma, along with diabetes, once again hits the national stage. If you subscribe to the Oklahoman newspaper, expect a significant increase in the price of your subscription. In case you missed it, a Muskogee, Oklahoma jury recently ruled that the Oklahoman defamed and slandered Scott Sapulpa, the high school basketball announcer it wrongly identified as a racist who said the N-word during a broadcast, and now owes him a cool $25 million for destroying his reputation and making his life a living hell. Newspapers have not been doing well, especially in the last couple of years. This company, the Oklahoman, is owned by Gannett. Gannett is a $330 million company. This would be a difficult payment for Gannett to make. They will appeal this. Who knows what will happen with the appeal? But the Oklahoman was really irresponsible here. They went after a guy, did not do appropriate journalism, accused him of making statements he never made, and destroyed his career. And that's why he won. Now, Scott Sapulpa has not gotten the $25 million yet. Of course, he's going to have to survive an appeal, and Gannett will do whatever they can to at least try to get the number down. Maybe they can negotiate the number down, not have an appeal. As they point out in the article, after his attorneys and the federal government get their cut, even if he got the full $25 million, he'd get around $8 million. Of course, you have to think the Oklahoman and Gannett are going to take their time, appeal the decision, and do whatever they can to get an appeals court to overturn the hometown jury's generous verdict in favor of their hometown boy. Although it seems over the top, the verdict is more than justified. And even the author here, as one of the thousands who grabbed a torch, broom, and pitchfork and went after Scott, the falsely accused, based on the Oklahoman's terrible reporting, it was obvious the guy was being savaged. Not only did Scott Sapulpa endure incredulous and unnecessary online abuse that affected his life and his career, but evidence introduced by his attorneys showed just how reckless and callous, and as a result malicious, the Oklahoman was in handling the story. According to an internal Microsoft Teams thread that was introduced as evidence, the reporters covering the case, including the primary libelist Cameron Jordan, seemed to care more about bylines, traffic, and shaming the racist than accurately reporting the story at hand. There is a detailed thread where you can see all the direct correspondence between all the parties, and the author did a good job here of pulling out a couple of choice comments that they made to really just show this was incredibly irresponsible. It was just like a blood hunt to track this guy down because they wanted to go after him for whatever his racist comments supposedly were that he never even made. Jenny Carlson, also a sports reporter, played a pivotal role in the Oklahoman being forced to pay $25 million. In a roundabout way, the jury's verdict also doubles as $1 million a year karmic payback to the paper for giving Jenny a sports column for 25 years. The detailed thread provides an inside look at what goes on inside a newsroom and the rushed and hurried attempt the Oklahoman went through to be the first to incorrectly name the racist. The entire document is littered with facepalms and shows the reporting team didn't seem to comprehend or care that they just defamed a guy. In fact, hours after the paper removed Sapulpa's name from the story, Jenny Carlson lauded the reporting of Cam Jordan, the guy who would eventually cost the paper $25 million, and suggested that he be nominated for an award. Here's what she said from Jenny Carlson. Quick note, someone needs to nominate Cam right now for whatever recognition we can muster. The weekly national note from whomever in Gannett. A special best of the month from Clyde. I don't care. Dude is at the end of the toughest 2 weeks of the year, and he cranked this story and got the racist name and drove to Tulsa and covered games and got what may end up being the best scene-setting lead of the year. Damn, damn, damn Cam. Even by Jenny Carlson's standards, that could be the coldest of all cold takes. It explains why she takes the easy way out and writes Captain Obvious sports columns that provide no knowledge or insight or simply attack college football players, quote, for doing everything right. That being said, and in all journalistic fairness to Jenny, she did have some wine. From Jenny Carlson, this knucklehead made all of this week's state tournament about his racism. I'm mad at him for what he said about the Norman girls, and those girls were the subject of the racist comments, the high school basketball players. But I'm mad for all other kids that this racism stole the spotlight from. She continues, also I've had some wine, just some, but feel free to take that into account when reading my comments. Jacob Unruh replies, every school should kneel, every one of them. I'm sober, and this has pissed me off all over again. Jenny Carlson follows up with yes, as in yes, queen. Although Jenny's comments look really dumb in hindsight, the person who really has the biggest pile of Jimmy's egg on his face is Cameron Jordan, the guy who reported Scott Sapulpa was the guy on the audio. And we will cover what was said on the audio so you know even more about the background. Here's what Cameron Jordan reported. Multiple sources confirmed to the Oklahoman that Scott Sapulpa, the head football coach at Hurled, was the announcer who directed racist comments at the Norman girls basketball team. Just like on Twitter, Cameron claimed in the team's thread that he had it from two different sources that Sapulpa was the guy in the recording, but some of this author's sources, who also work for the Oklahoman, question whether that's the actual truth. They speculate that he may have incorrectly guessed it was Sapulpa through some circumstantial investigation, and then fibbed about getting it verified. Also, two sources is not really multiple sources. It does look like this guy made it up. Either way, we'll never know the true answer to how Jordan got it so wrong. He was also named in Sapulpa's lawsuit, but the case against him was dismissed before it went to trial. And here's the background on all this. Also from the Lost Ogle, racism in Oklahoma, along with diabetes, once again hits the national stage. Oklahoma is once again in the news for all the wrong racist reasons. On Friday morning at 9:03 a.m., Norman High School basketball coach Frankie Parks shared a video clip of a high school sports announcer caught on a hot mic calling the Norman High School women's basketball team effing ends for having the audacity to take a knee during the national anthem and in the process remind us why they take a knee during the national anthem. Here's the original tweet. Hey NFHS Network, looks like you forgot to cut the mic. Effing ends is the one that really got me. Tell us how you really feel. This is why they kneel. I don't agree with the idea of sports teams kneeling during the national anthem, but of course you can't make public racist statements about it. Like most videos of racists from Oklahoma caught on tape using the N-word, the video quickly spread across the social media sphere. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time this happened in Oklahoma. People were rightfully shocked, rightfully outraged, and rightfully wanted to know who the effing racist idiot was on tape showing his inner and outer racism. As a result, the Oklahoma media machine went into overdrive looking for that score. Only a few hours later, the Oklahoman's Cam Jordan shared the first big scoop of his journalistic career. And this is where Cam Jordan claimed he had multiple sources, letting him know that it was Scott Sapulpa who supposedly made the inappropriate comments. It was not. Once Cameron shared his scoop that was verified by his multiple sources, everyone in the local media went on a scavenger hunt to find out what they could about this mysterious Scott Sapulpa. The only problem, the guy saying the racist stuff in the video wasn't Scott Sapulpa. Ben Felder tweeted, I reached out to the owner of the production company who said the wrong person has been identified as using racist language towards Norman's high school girls basketball team. This is the second such high-profile event in local prep sports. From the Lost Ogle, FYI, the Oklahoman's Cam Jordan has deleted his tweet identifying Scott Sapulpa as the racist in the high school basketball broadcast. He may need new multiple sources. That is outrageous. Apparently, Scott Sapulpa was one of the broadcasters for the game, but he wasn't the guy who dropped the wild N-bomb reference. That honor belonged to his boss, a racist diabetic named Matt Rowan. Either way, Scott still lost his job for not immediately condemning the racist language that, you'd have to assume, took him off guard. Holbert's school superintendent said in an email to parents that while the announcer, who had been identified by a newspaper as using the racist language, had been misidentified, he would still not be returning to the school because he did not condemn the racist language. So Scott Sapulpa gets fired for not condemning something he didn't even say, and in the context of did he not condemn it, how did he not condemn it? There was a huge uproar. He was falsely accused. He deserved a little bit of deference, but we don't have the details on it. So it's not even really appropriate to talk about. In the spur of the moment, when a dude's on a live broadcast and just heard his boss drop an N-bomb, I can see how he may have frozen up like Garth in Wayne's World and pretended that he didn't notice anything. As mentioned, eventually the media would get around to identifying Matt Rowan as the racist announcer. The owner of the company broadcasting the game, he was able to throw the gumshoes off the trail by initially denying he was the person who said it. Eventually, Matt came clean and admitted it was him. He would then proceed to write one of the dumbest, most imbecilic apologies that man has ever written. And his apology basically went like this. The announcer who made the racist statement, Matt Rowan, during the basketball game, wants everyone to know he's not a racist and chalks the whole thing up to his diabetes. I don't think diabetes would be enough to get somebody out of that situation. First of all, he clarifies that he made the comments while believing that the microphone was off. Second, it is kind of ridiculous how he went with the diabetes excuse. The diabetes comment gave the sad story a weird punchline, helped make it go even more viral, and made even Wilford Brimley a trending topic on Twitter. Naturally, every Oklahoman politician of note came out of the woodwork to condemn and chastise the remarks. The governor of Oklahoma did give credit to the happy ending in this story. The Norman Tigers would persevere through the racism sent their way and take home the state championship. Anyway, this concludes the latest edition of Racism in Oklahoma once again hits the national stage. It seems like there's a story like this about once every quarter or so it will be interesting to see where, how, and why the next one lands, and what medical condition gets blamed for it. Great to see justice for the guy that got wrongly accused winning a $25 million defamation lawsuit. And that was for a legitimate defamation by crazy woke reporters irresponsibly smearing the name of a guy, accusing him of something he never did, getting him to lose his job, and being forced to deal with the consequences. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you want to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.